Joining me now here at the Goldman Sachs Communacopia and Technology Conference, Marc Benioff, the CEO, Chairman, and co-founder of Salesforce. It's so great to speak with you.
Oh, I'm really happy to be here with you.
Me too. So you just got off a stage, you just presented. I want to start with Agentforce, because this seems to be the area where investors are particularly focused right now. Certainly seeing a lot of momentum. We saw that last week in earnings. How quickly does that ramp, and what does it take for that to be realized in a more meaningful way on the sales side?
Yeah, well, it's an incredible moment right now in technology, and I think, well, first of all, for Salesforce, I mean, you can see from these quarter results, our core has been remarkably strong, but we also see this Agentforce product line, which includes our data cloud, is now over $1 billion in revenue and is growing, in triple digits. But the thing that was most excited in the quarter for me is this kind of transformation that we're going through to become an agentic enterprise, a next generation enterprise that's able to use the best of this AI and data technology to kind of deliver this next generation results that we're getting.
Yeah, there seems to be a narrative in the market right now and among investors that yes, this is happening, but can it happen quickly enough to offset any slowdown or disruption within the core business?
Yeah, everybody wants, you to grow as fast as you can, which we want as well, and everybody wants the cash flow to be as high as it can possibly be, which we want as well, and everybody wants bookings to be as high as possible and margins to be as high as possible. So everybody wants it all, and I think that when you're a small company, that's one level of growth. When you're a large company like ours, we're now like maybe the largest enterprise software company. We'll do more than $41 billion this year in revenue. We have about 80,000 employees. Our growth has been very good. In fact, we're going to do $15 billion of cash flow this year, which I think is the highest in the enterprise software industry. And we're going to keep that going. And you can put things together. Everyone can do the math that we're rapidly moving from the 40 billions, and soon we'll be in the 50 billions. And it's been an incredible moment.
I mean, there is this narrative out there that software ate the world and now AI is eating software. You think that's the wrong narrative?
Well, I think that the way to think about this is that every company is becoming an agentic enterprise. And I'll give you an example, which is customer zero, us. And one of the things about Salesforce that's exciting is, we have every possible function you could imagine, just like our customers do, but customer support is one of those things. It also happens to be one of our marquee products, our Service Cloud. And we have, I would say, at the beginning of this year, something like 6,000 to 8,000 customer support professionals. But we added our new agentic capability, the idea that we have now agents doing customer support and humans also doing customer support. Well, in the last 9 months, 1.5 million questions from our customers got answered by our AI agents. And also at the same time, 1.5 million of questions got answered by our human agents.
How do they do against each other?
Well, the CSAT scores are about the same, which is amazing. And yet there's we call an omni-channel supervisor, which is kind of managing them both. And you can see it going back and forth because AI agents cannot do everything. We all know that. Anyone who's ever worked with AI knows there's only a certain level of accuracy. Humans in some cases can't do everything, but together you have this incredible service force. And that's what we're excited. Even in sales, we're now using agents, and this is amazing. In the last 26 years, I would say that we have left somewhere between 20 and 100 million leads unanswered because we just didn't have the people to call back. We didn't have the people to really be able to say, all right, we're going to make sure that we get back to you tomorrow. But now every question is getting answered. Every customer is getting a call back. And the reason why that is because we have agent sellers. So not only do we have 15,000 people who are calling our customers, but now we have a whole new agentic sales force also. And again, it's humans and agents working together. And it's a very powerful combination. So it's in service, it's in sales, and it's spreading through our whole business.
So does that translate into greater revenue?
Well, you can see that this, we had a 10% growth, 9% in constant currency this quarter, which was, I think, driven a lot by these new products and this new capability. And we also saw 60% acceleration in conversions from AI pilots to actual production. So I think a lot of customers have been like, I want AI, I want more capability, I want to have better profitability. I want higher cash flow. I want more customer success. But a lot of customers still don't know how to go there. You probably saw this MIT survey that just came out in last month, where customers feel like they've wasted all this money in AI. But they haven't wasted that money with Salesforce, because when they're using our products, they're getting this whole another capability, this agentic capability, that's giving them this functionality that they've never had before.
Yeah, I've seen the MIT report. I've also seen the US Census data that came out that showed a slowdown among large corporations, or I guess hiring more than 250 workers, slowing down in terms of engagement in AI as well. You're not seeing that then at Salesforce. You're seeing the opposite. You're seeing an uptick?
I think what we're definitely seeing is that companies can become a lot stronger by using AI and humans together. And that's going to be a rebalancing of the workforce, even in my own company. I think, if you look at my numbers, I had 6,000 to 8,000 customer support agents at the beginning of this year. Now I kind of have 4,000 to 5,000 customer support agents. I've been able to reduce the customer support agents, but I have 3,000 to 4,000 more salespeople. So when I talk about agentic enterprise, I'm not just talking about the product and the technology, but I think companies are going to change as well. That is, the fundamental structure of Salesforce will change. The technology that we use will change. And the KPIs that we're going to generate are also going to change. So not only are we going to have increasing levels of cash flow, increasingly higher margins, higher revenues, but the way that our company is structured is going to shift. And that's what AI is going to give us. It's not going to be some huge kind of employee wipeout where we're going to take out huge parts of the company. What's going to happen is the company is going to slightly be shifted based on the power of artificial intelligence.
So AI doesn't necessarily eat software, but it also doesn't necessarily eat jobs. It just changes the jobs.
I think it's reshaping. I think you're going to see a fundamental reshaping of a lot of businesses. And I really think it's my obligation to make sure that Salesforce is the first one.
So the other thing and this came up with VCs on stage here earlier this week, talking about the challenges for software, and that seat-based models are vulnerable, consumption-based models and pricing is the future. What does that mean for Salesforce?
I heard that narrative too, and I don't agree with it. So, like, for example, we all have ChatGPT on our phone or some other large language model, and so you may be paying a monthly fee. Do you pay a monthly fee for ChatGPT, $20 a month or something? You do, right? That's a seat-based model, right? You're a seat, and they're paying so much per month. So that model clearly is not going away, but there's also a consumption model, which is like we send out 11 trillion emails every single year as part of our marketing cloud. And customers have always paid consumption on that. It's not a seat-based product. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So now you have seats, you have consumption, and then you also have, kind of data. And this idea that we have all this data out there and we have more data than ever before, that's another incredible opportunity. So you're going to have many different models all working together.
So this idea that AI is disrupting the sales cycle, it's not, it's shifting it.
Again, just as we talked about how AI is like reshaping the way employees are set up in a company, AI is also going to reshape, what the business model is going to look like and what the technology model. But when we get into this kind of zero-sum game, well, all this is going to get wiped out or all this is going to change, then you're not dealing with somebody who actually runs a company, because that's not the way business works. Business is incremental, it's evolutionary, it's growing, it's evolving, and we don't see that kind of change. It's very, very infrequent.
There also seems to be, an idea out there, and you see it in the valuation of the company, Palantir, this idea that that's the future of software, it's disrupting software, and it's doing so without a marketing team.
Oh my
thoughts?
Gosh, I am so inspired by that company. I mean, not just because they have 100 times multiple on their revenue, which I would love to have that too. Maybe it'll have 1,000 times on their revenue soon. But the prices that they charge to their customers, I mean, it's got to be the most expensive enterprise software I've ever seen. I've been looking at their demos this week saying, my gosh, how do they get these prices? Because I thought I had analytics, I thought I had data management, maybe I'm not charging enough.
And you're competing with them.
We compete with them. In fact, we just won a huge deal at the U.S. Army against them.
The U.S. government opportunity in general. We talk about cost, we talk about efficiency. I mean, there was DOGE. I realized that narrative has shifted a little bit. This idea of more competition when it comes to contracting. How big is that opportunity for Salesforce?
That's an incredible opportunity. I mean, we talk about the agentic enterprise. I probably used the phrase like 20 times in our interview, but think about the agentic government. Think about an agentic government that has the ability to extend its workforce with agents so that you have the ability to communicate, with different government agencies with an AI that can really answer your questions rapidly or help you get things done more quickly, or even is able to go out and recruit more people into the government, which is like certain agencies are staffing very aggressively, but they need recruiters or the ability to go out. So an agentic government, that's as real an idea as the agentic enterprise, and I think these are huge accelerators on our business, but really on our whole industry.
You've talked about organic growth. You also talked about inorganic growth. You've been acquisitive over the years, most recently Informatica, which I think there's some skepticism on Wall Street about that acquisition as well. Are you still acquisitive?
Well, there's always going to be, skepticism on any acquisition. I can tell you that.
What are investors getting wrong?
I've done over 60 acquisitions, and I've grown a business, from an idea to, 41 billion in revenue. So I have seen all of those things, and I think that's a normal part of business, which is you come in, you're acquiring a company, the first thing everyone's going to say is it's not going to work. So but you look at something like we bought Slack, which has been just a runaway train for us, and especially this year in the time of this agentic time, where now I have, agents running right inside my phone that are helping me manage my business. So I can renew my customers, sell my customers. I can even help manage my human resources. It's all happening right inside Slack. So I have dozens of agents working right inside that environment. It's become an incredible product, but the growth rate on that product has been unbelievable. And as an example, when we bought the company, I think it did about $900 million in revenue. Today it does a few $billion in revenue. I think I mentioned the email marketing company. We bought that company. It was about $300 million in revenue. It's also about $3 billion in revenue today. So you have to take risk to be successful in business, and acquisitions are risky, but properly managed, they can just be phenomenal for you and your customers.
What do you think the conversation we're having a year from now, 5 years from now, is? Where Salesforce is concerned, where this AI landscape and how it intersects with software is concerned, especially given the fact that we started this year with folks like Satya Nadella basically coming out and saying SaaS is in trouble.
Yeah, that was an amazing thing. I think a lot of software CEOs really looked at that and said, what exactly, is he saying? And we're trying, we have a lot of respect for him, but at the same level, software is evolving and changing, and enterprise applications are evolving and changing, like I just outlined. But this idea that every business is going to go through an AI transformation or an agentic transformation is very real, and they're going to need partners to do that. And I think that's one of the things, if I kind of look back, if I say, where do we want to be 5 years from now, let's call it 2030, I think we want to be that trusted partner for the agentic enterprise, that we're going to work with companies, whether they're small businesses or medium or large or governments like we talked about, or other software companies, which are kind of the 5 different groups that we're selling to. We want to help them all kind of make this transformation. And this is going to be a big transformation, but it's going to result in much more automated companies, more profitable companies, much higher levels of customer success. And this is what AI really is meant to be.